So you're going to college next year and you want to know which dorm to put as your #1 choice. Well, I got you. Welcome back to another video, guys. We are going to be talking about dorms. Now, for anyone that's not going to UNC or not thinking about going to UNC, this video is going to be pretty UNC specific. However, a lot of the things I say about each dorm can probably be applied to a bunch of other dorms at other universities, so stick around. Alright, let's start out with the one I'm in front of right now, Hinton James, very commonly referred to as Hojo. Hojo is located in South Campus along with most of the other freshman dorms. It is, I believe, the biggest dorm at UNC. Hojo is fully suite style, which means you're gonna have a roommate and then you guys are gonna be in a suite with 3 other roommate groups. So it's gonna be 8 people total, 4 rooms that are across from each other. So one here, one here, one here, and one here. And then 1 bathroom per suite. So yeah, you're gonna have to share with 8 people, which in my experience is pretty rough. You get used to it after a little bit. Now, what differentiates Hojo is essentially, first off, location. Even though there is a bus stop right in front of Hojo, it goes the other direction, so you don't take that to get to classes. The one you do take is the Ehringhaus one, so you're gonna have to walk a bit more to get to that bus station. And then obviously the floors. This is 10. Ehringhaus is 6, and so naturally this dorm is more social. If you really want to meet a bunch of people and have like the highest chance of doing that, then Hojo might be a good choice for you. But at the same time, having 1,000 people in this building can get pretty noisy and chaotic, especially if you want to like go to the lounges or chill and do work inside of it. It can be a little distracting sometimes. The dorms have 1 lounge on each floor. I will say the quality of lounges at Hojo is for the most part better than ehaus. Even one has like a ping pong table, one has like this really awesome booth. But also I've heard Hojo has a bit more maintenance issues because, again, when you have this many floors, this many rooms, each one of them gets taken care of a bit less. So there's that trade-off. There is a basketball court at Hojo, which is really nice and fun if you play basketball. It is a bit of an extra walk to the closest dining hall than ehringhaus is, just because, again, of the location. And again, because it's 10 floors, elevators can take a longer time, especially if you're on a higher floor. But even if you're on a lower one, you might have to wait for it to go up, get someone, then come down back to you. So if you're usually late to class, just be aware of that. The layout of the rooms are going to be similar to every other suite style dorm at UNC. Same size, same bed layout, everything like that. So that should not be a differentiating factor. Also, the views from especially the higher floors from Hojo and the sunsets and stuff are really nice, I'll give it that. This is pretty much the main parking lot. It has less spots than Ehringhaus, which is interesting. But again, if you're staying here, you're most likely a freshman and therefore unable to park. And yeah, that is Hinton James. If you have any more questions about it, leave them down below. Let's go to Ehringhaus. Alright, now I am in front of Ehringhaus, which is right there, right behind me. This is sort of like the back side of it, but it is pretty much the same exact layout as Hojo, except instead of 10 floors, it is 6 floors. Location-wise, it's in a pretty solid location for freshman dorms. It's right behind the baseball stadium and the field hockey stadium. So I always thought that was pretty cool. If you're on this side of it, then you could kind of watch baseball games from your balcony, which, you know, that's pretty cool. Here's how it is on the map. It is only about a 5 to 6 minute walk from Chase Dining Hall, which is really nice if you like Chase. Not the same amount of a walk to main campus as Hinton James is. It's also right in front of a bus stop. So if you go down the main elevator right out the front, you walk like for 1 minute and you're at the bus stop to get to classes, which is super convenient. And that saved me quite a bit when I'm running late for classes, even though I still miss it sometimes. So we're not going to talk about that. Because it's 6 floors, it's sort of in the middle when you're talking about socialness. Like in Hojo, you have 4 extra floors of people, so you're going to pretty much always be around someone. Whereas in ehaus, you can definitely find friends, you can definitely find a community with your floor or with some other people. Like last year, me and my suite mates got pretty close with a few people that were on our floor, a few people that were right above us and below us. It also made the elevator situation definitely better. I was on the 3rd floor and elevators are usually never a problem. Sometimes they go to the 6th and you have to wait a little bit, but it's definitely better than 10th. It is, like I said, the same style of rooms as Hojo, 4 rooms. 1 bathroom. Inside the bathrooms, I guess I should have mentioned this at the Hojo one, but inside the bathrooms, you're gonna have 1 toilet and 2 sinks. They don't come with curtains or anything. You have to put your shower rod and your toilet curtain if you want one. Even though we locked the door, we still put one anyway, because why not? Some downsides of ehaus were, obviously, like I said, you're not gonna meet as many people. Same thing with parking. You're not gonna get it as a freshman. It's just that simple. The elevator was out of order quite a bit, and if you do get the 6th floor, it is not that standard style. It is a hall with, like, I believe like maybe I want to say 15 to 20 rooms, because this is where a lot of the people that live in single rooms stay. You're gonna get the 6th floor for that, and it's a bigger hall, but you're still sharing it with 8 people, I believe. I think it's like 2 groups of 2 roommates and then 4 single rooms that share it. And my brother actually lived in the 6th floor when he stayed here, so yeah, it's not a major inconvenience, it's just not really a suite. Some of the lounges are worse than the other dorms. Both Ehringhaus and Hojo are right in front of like the massive intersection at the front of UNC, so there's honestly no getting by that if you're walking in classes. And other than that, I feel like it's just pretty much middle ground and everything, which for me was more than enough. I really liked it here. Obviously I'm a little biased though, but yeah, that is Ehringhaus. Also, I forgot to mention, but in all of these suite style dorms, you get your bathroom cleaned for you, which may not seem like a huge deal, but it honestly is. You don't know how dirty these bathrooms get after a few days, so much respect to those employees, and yeah, that is a huge plus of having one of these. And now the final main suite style freshman dorm at UNC is Craige. I'm not going to spend too much time on this one because truthfully I've only been inside of Craige one time in my life, and it seems practically the exact same as Ehringhaus. It's 6 stories suite style. It has like a new gaming arena on the bottom floor, which is cool, but there's a volleyball net right there. Not sure how well you can see it, but the one thing I will say is that Craige is sort of renowned on UNC campus for being crusty Craige, which sort of means that it is like the dirtiest / least maintained dorm on campus, which I've had a couple of friends stay here last year that said that wasn't really that true. Like, it does get dirty due to bugs and stuff, but it's definitely not as bad as the reputation makes it out to be. So take that however you will. Craige is again very middle of the road. However, the one downside I believe it has over Ehringhaus is its location. It's sort of like secluded out here. I'll put a map up, but like it's like right near the medical side, and it is under a bus stop that goes towards the medical side, but you can take that to go to class. Gonna be still about a 15-minute walk to class. That's not gonna change. Socialness is probably again same as Ehringhaus, like in the middle of the road. Yeah, you're really only next to like the Rams Village apartments that are back there and Horton, which I'll talk about next. And it sort of just feels very secluded compared to the other 2, which are right next to all the other freshman dorms. And yeah, Craige. Also, the walkway to get to Craige from the other direction is on this like creepy / cool sort of bridge thing. I don't know, I'll put a picture here. Yeah. No one saw that. Now, what I will talk a little bit more about is what's right there, and I believe this one is Craige North, but I'm just going to group all the honors dorms in here at once because they're sort of all the same thing. Horton, Koury, and Craige North. These are going to be 4 stories, I believe, and they are going to be not suite style but also not high style. They basically have separate rooms, all with 2 people, and the rooms are going to be bigger than your regular dorm size. I'm not sure the exact size, but I've been inside and it's noticeably bigger, which you're going to be like, why isn't everyone just getting that? Well, for one, your bathroom is shared with another room, so it's going to be 4 people to 1 bathroom, which again compared to 8 is not that bad, but you have to clean your own bathroom, and like I said earlier, dorm bathrooms get very dirty very quick, so you're not going to really want to do that, and that is a pretty big downside of these. But if that's something you don't mind, then fair enough. But also it is more secluded naturally because it only has 4 floors, and it's only mainly honor students that live here, so you're going to be in an environment where more people are just doing work in their rooms and not really going to the lounges or stuff that much. It does have lounges, but from the times I've been in there, there's not really that many people that go to them, so you're going to have a harder time meeting people through your dorm with staying in one of these. However, the actual living, sleeping experience is going to be pretty much the same. And also, as far as location, Horton is basically the same as Hinton James' location, Koury is basically the same as Ehringhaus' location, and Craige North is basically the same as Craige's location. So yeah, the rooms are quite different, the style is quite different, and it is why most people call these honors dorms. You don't technically have to be honors to stay in them. I think you get priority if you are, but yeah, I'm not going to say whether it's better or worse because it honestly comes down to personal preference. And I can't really find a good place to show them off right now, but the last ones are the North Campus hall style dorms. These are completely different from the ones in South Campus. Obviously, the main difference is location. You're pretty much like a 5-minute walk from all of your classes, which is really cool. But the downsides are, at least personal downsides, these might be upsides to you, in which case maybe go for one of these. Basically, hall style means you're sharing a bathroom with like 16 to 20 people, everyone that's in your hall, and the bathroom has probably like 4 or 5 showers, 4 or 5 stalls, so it's not like a major deal. Like, you're always gonna usually get a place to use the bathroom. You usually stay in one of these dorms during orientation. If they even have orientation this year, you'll see what this is like. But yeah, obviously those showers can get pretty dirty. They are staff clean, but when 16 people are using them in the morning, it might not be a pleasant showering experience, but some people don't care about that. And if that's you, then again, fair enough. The other downside is that they are even more secluded than the honors dorms, honestly. Even though they're like right next to each other and they're right next to main campus, within the dorm itself, I think they're only like 2 or 3 floors sometimes. And again, usually it's just a very like work inside your room sort of thing. Most people I know that stayed here last year barely were even in their dorms. They're just on main campus because it was right next to their buildings. And so really it's a good option if you aren't really looking for the social aspect of college in your first year. You want a place where it's less time to walk, you don't need cars at all, you don't need to really take buses, you don't mind sharing a bathroom with a lot of people. I believe the rooms are a tad bit smaller, I want to say, than regular. It definitely has some pros, but it also has some cons, and those cons were enough for me to not pick it at all. Also, while I'm editing this, I realized I forgot to mention Granville, which is definitely a legitimate first-year housing option. They are the only legitimate apartments that freshmen are technically allowed to stay at, because you have to live on campus as a freshman at UNC. Essentially, the complex has like some agreement with UNC that allows them to do that, but it's located pretty much right on West Franklin Street, which is again like a 15-minute walk to class just from the other direction. So you are pretty close to like the restaurants and Target and all of that stuff. And you are allowed to bring a car. However, it is really expensive to do so, and the apartment itself is definitely more expensive than dorms. I'm pretty sure most of the floor plans are like 4-bed, 2-bath. But yeah, it's kind of like the only option that isn't a dorm. So I didn't choose it because, for one, it's like not a traditional freshman college dorm experience. Like, if you choose this, you're never gonna really experience that, which I feel like is necessary. If you go to college, you gotta experience dorms. But also, it kind of has a reputation of being like where all the Greek life kids stay. That's more or less true. Like, obviously not everyone is, but I've heard from a lot of people that it's pretty much always noisy. It had like a huge mold problem last year, and I've heard that like it's not the best maintenance wise. But other than that, like, if none of that bothers you and you really don't want that traditional freshman living experience, and also if you're willing to spend that money, then definitely look at their website and consider it. It also has its like own dining hall in it, which is really interesting, but I think you have to buy a separate meal plan for that, obviously. Yeah, so quick recap: suite style dorms. Hinton James is your most social, like the most stayed at dorm. The one that a lot of people say is like a rite of passage of going to UNC. I disagree with that, but it's definitely the most active if that's what you're looking for. A good middle ground is Craige and Ehringhaus. Ehringhaus has a better location, but if you don't get that, then Craige is a decent alternative, especially if you're still looking for that freshman dorm suite style classic experience. Then those two are great options. If you are in honors, or you really just like that style of having a bigger room and you don't mind walking like 15 minutes to campus like the other dorms I just mentioned, then maybe the 3 honors dorms could be for you. Just be aware that you will have to clean your own bathrooms. And yeah, if none of that really appeals to you, then maybe you want to go with the North Campus dorm, which again, like I said, barely any people that I know stayed there. You're probably going to be in a building with some sophomores, but if none of that really matters to you, if none of the hall style downsides matter to you, and you really just want that really good location, then I'd say North Campus dorms are pretty underrated. My personal number one choice is obviously going to be biased, but it's going to be Ehringhaus. After having that community at ehaus last year in the lounges at like 2 in the morning, it just felt like a really good college experience. So hopefully this was helpful. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know if you have more questions. There's so many more factors that go into it. So I'll be happy to answer them, and I will see you all later. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out.